I can't help it. But anyway, we should move past this topic because I feel like the next one, we might end up talking a bit about that too, and that's I'm sure people heard about Wasteland 2 being the other big Kickstarter project going on besides Tim Schafer's.
This guy that like won the lottery or something.
I have no idea, but the company is called In Exile and planned a sequel to the game Wasteland, which it's like a really old game. See, I am like, this is showing my age here because I actually never even heard of Wasteland until this happened.
Dude, don't feel that. Neither have I.
Yeah, well, it's an old ass game. I think it was like a PC adventure game back in the day. Or see, you know what? I should not say that because I'm going to get yelled at by someone eventually. I don't even know what kind of game it was, but it was a post-apocalyptic game. And
sir, just go out on a limb.
Okay, it's an adventure game starring.
Hang in there, baby. You're like the kitten hanging from the branch.
It's starring Luke Skywalker and now.
Don't do it.
I'm just making it up.
Now you're being blasphemous. And I won't stand for it.
Okay, well, what happened though is that there was I think because of the success of the Double Fine adventure game Kickstarter project, this happened, and they had a goal of $900,000 to make Wasteland 2 happen, and then they ended up getting more than $2.9 million on Kickstarter, which is just,
somebody bought some coke and strippers.
Pretty much, yeah. And then they actually got an additional $100,000 via PayPal, so they got it to more than $3 million. In fact, actually, I think it's it came in really close to what Double Fine got, and which was $3.3 million. So it's it was a wild success for these for In Exile. In Exile, I think is how you're supposed to say it, entertainment. And
I'll tell you what,
yeah.
I'm starting up a Kickstarter funding program for Pixel Apocalypse.
Well, see, and that's
tonight.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's money to be made there, and we ain't getting paid.
Yeah.
He needs to get paid
to cover this shit and be entertaining and whatnot.
I know I am much more entertaining with money in my pocket. I'll tell you that right now.
I think because then as soon as I get paid for this, I can start writing off every game-related expense I have, and that's what I'm excied to do.
Yeah, the federal government laughs at my tax returns right now. Oh yeah,
I laugh at them.
Video game website, and you spent $1,500 on a gaming rig. I laugh at you. You can't write that off. What's wrong with you?
But now you will be able to if this happens and works out well. It'll be great because that's the thing. If we get, let's say we get like $5, just write me a check for $2. Write me a check for $1, and I'll be able to write off everything after that.
I'm gonna make you clean my house for that $1 though.
Damn it. Okay. Well, anyway, what I kind of wanted to talk about.
Hey, Alex, you want your check?
I love how I'm trying to be all like serious, and you're just like fantasizing about me being your slave.
I like this. I think we're gonna do this every week now. You're gonna run the show and intro the stories, and I'm just gonna be the wise ass that sits in the corner because this is awesome.
Well, anyway, what's going on with this game that I think is interesting is the fact that it's the second game to do this, or second company to do this, to try to make a game. And there's like other stuff going on. There's like a guy who is trying to raise $26,000 or $23,000 or something to recreate the first level of Super Mario Brothers in Lego form. And I'm not
punch him in the cock immediately.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's doing it for and what he's going to do is for anyone that spends money on it, he's going to send them a section of it as a piece of art, which I guess I'm cool with in general, but I guess it's starting to show that Kickstarter, as great of an idea as it is, and as well as it's working and whatnot, is kind of being taken a little too far, arguably. But maybe not.
There are people starving in the world. And this motherfucker's I'm going to rebuild 1.1 in Lego form. Kiss my ass.
Yeah, but you know what? But the great thing about Kickstarter, though, is that it puts the responsibility on the people who are actually giving the money. No one actually has to give the guy money. If he gets $26,000, that's, however many, let's just say it was 26,000 people giving $1 a piece, that's 26,000 morons. I mean, that's their problem.
Well, okay, and each one of them gets a free checkup at the Slap the Taste Out of Your Mouth clinic.
Indeed, yeah, I agree. But going back to really what I was thinking about with this recently, because I actually heard this be touched upon in another conversation I heard about Kickstarter, in that I think that what really this could portend is that, we've talked about it a lot because of the Mass Effect 3 controversy, of gamers feeling entitled and whatnot. Now they actually have their money invested in something, and they're being encouraged to give feedback on ideas and whatnot. I'm just wondering how that can manifest itself if they don't like how the game turned out.
Oh man, I wish I had a funeral MP3 right now, or like the Imperial March or something. Just anything that I could play, because you're right. You're absolutely right. Gamers are the most entitled pricks on the planet.
It's fucking true. I mean, they didn't invest.
If the game turns out to be dookie,
or just not even dookie, just something they didn't like. That's what I'm saying. It's like some subjective perception as to the quality of the game, and because
thanks to BioWare, we could always give it.
We can bitch and
DLC
moan.
That changes the whole thing.
Yeah, if we bitch and moan enough, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, see, that's what I'm saying. None of us invested any money in the actual making of. I mean, okay, I guess we kind of did by buying the previous games, but beyond that, I mean, we've invested nothing except our time into a game like Mass Effect 3 or the Mass Effect series or trilogy.
And our money.
But not very much money. I mean, and we were buying the product. We weren't actually investing in the product itself. We were indirectly, but in this case, people are investing directly. So that's going to give them a feeling of entitlement.
No, we're investing. Well, see, this is where I got to disagree with you.
Okay.
We are investing directly. Our dollars are directly related to whether we get another game or not.
In that sense, you are right.
We're investing in the future, if you will.
You're right, but I feel like, I don't know. I get really uncomfortable with the idea of people feeling entitled to the creative process of something just because they sank money into it. That's like the kind of thing that a lot of these same people would most likely bitch about being wrong with Hollywood.
Well, yeah, and you're absolutely right. When it comes to the creative process, it should be absolutely hands off. There is a line between the fans and creatives, and it should never be crossed.
Yeah,
and
unless
totally
the creators ask
you.
And if the creators ask you for some feedback, then that's fine. But that's all you're allowed to get.
That doesn't mean they have to take it. Feedback
no, exactly.
does not mean...
It's true.
Okay, I'm going to spend my time on a forum, type up a dissertation on everything that should be done in the next Mass Effect. And you need to do everything I put on my list because I invested my time to do the list.
And you're $60. Yeah, I mean, I do get what you're saying about the financial investment. You are technically investing in the product and whatnot, but yeah, we are in agreement that the creative process is the line that you can go up to, but not across.
Oh, absolutely. Like if we start, just for an example. If for some reason, okay, we started a Kickstarter fund, and that Kickstarter fund...
For the website, you mean?
Yeah, for the website, for the podcast, for the shows, whatever.
Yeah.
And that Kickstarter fund was, financing the whole shebang, the whole deal. And the audience felt that I said something wrong, or you said something wrong, or they weren't happy with a certain... You think I'm going to let a fucking audience member come into this fucking show and tell me how it's done? Kiss my balls! That will never happen. I love our audience. I really do. And I'm happy they listen to us and that they find us enjoyable. But and I love their feedback too. But that doesn't mean I have to take it or that I'm going to change.
Or that they're right.
I love it.
Just because somebody can give a very good point in feedback doesn't mean that they're right when it comes to something creative. Creative projects, art in general, is a subjective thing. I'm not trying to say that Pixel Apocalypse is art, but it does require...
farthest from, my friend.
It's a scatological fun is what it is. But
it's a Jackson Pollock.
It's so ridiculously unartistic, it's artistic. I see what you're saying.
Oh, no, actually, you took it farther than I was willing to go, but hey, I'm right there with you. All right, let's do it.
Well, but in all seriousness, though, I totally spaced.
I threw you.
You threw me. You threw me.
Yes,
you curveball.
Thank you.
So much crackling from that too, but yeah, I don't know. I think that audience participation is really what this is going to come down to. Or is really what this is coming down to, and I think that that's not necessarily, a good thing. I mean,
yeah,
it's. I feel like we're just sort of repeating ourselves here.
I hate to say it, but I think, I do think the current system of how games are made is somewhat slanted towards the business end, where it should be more on the creative side of thing, or at least more balanced.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think it's better if you're pitching your idea to a room full of like maybe 6 to 10 executives than pitching your ideas to a million raving fanboys who just they have no
they've never created anything in their life, because that's the thing. If somebody has such a good idea for how a game should have ended, for example, and they can write out a lengthy description as to how it should have ended step by step, if they've gone that far in thinking through what should happen, then, that's when the argument, well, make your own then, actually does ring very true. If you're willing to commit that much of your time to thinking about it, then you should be willing to invest your own fucking money in it and make it happen yourself.
Well, here's the thing. I wasn't going to... I mean, that's a good point. I wasn't actually going to say that they have no creative experience or
well, some of them might.
I know, some of them might. But what I was going to say was that they have no real filter. All they really know is that I love the last game. I have to have the next one. We see it every day, every year with Call of Duty. The same game for 5 fucking years. People still buy the shit. Because they love it and they have to have it. Same with Halo. Same with any beloved franchise. There is no filter with the audience. They just know that they love the last one. They want the next one. And they're not being asked to put down 20, 30 million like that room of executives. Well, they're getting asked for 15, 20 bucks. But once again, gamers are entitled little bastards. And 20 bucks means that they get a say.
Which I honestly, that's when I start to see Kickstarter becoming potentially a bad thing. Like, it's a good thing at first, but it can eventually become a hindrance, arguably.
But I'm right there with you.
But maybe not financially though. I mean, the money's already there.
Oh, I'm telling you right now, I'm going to start up our Kickstarter funding program, and there's going to be a disclaimer right on the front of that thing. Like, if you give us money, we love you, but don't talk to us.
Our Kickstarter is over before it even begins.
It's like, unless you're going to tell me a funny joke or make fun of Alex or Scotty D, your input is not required.
All right. So should we move on from this?
Dude, you're the host.
Okay. I just didn't know if you had any other thoughts left on the matter, but yeah.
No, I didn't have any thoughts to begin with. I was just talking wildly out of my ass.
Well, then, yeah, let's move on. I think the next sort of big story of the week was Sony unveiling a new digital media hub for the PlayStation, which you said you didn't read anything about, so I'm supposed to surprise you on this. And I think people have probably noticed, if they haven't figured out how to utilize it themselves yet, that if you have a computer with a wireless card in it and it's on, when you power on your PS3, it detects that computer as a media server. And Sony is now releasing something called the NASNE, it's all lowercase, NASNE. They're being all hipster about it. That is going to serve as a digital media hub for PlayStation, PC, tablet, phone lines, everything. It's pretty much a data storage center. It's going on sale in Japan in July, on July 19th specifically. It has a 500 gig hard drive and inputs for regular and satellite TV, and it costs $210 there. And it actually is not a new thing in Japan. It's a successor to a TV tuner that Sony released. I don't know when they released that, but it was called the Tourney. It's a weird name. No, it's ridiculous. But at this point, though, they're just trying. I think that they're releasing it in America eventually, and it's something that you can connect with your PS3, like I said. And I think it's actually going to be compatible with the Vita and the Xperia smartphone and the Sony tablets, like I was mentioning. But also, if you have a Vio TV, it's compatible with that. So, yeah, it's it's basically sort of what Microsoft and Sony have both been aiming at this whole time with their consoles, that they've always said they've been aiming at, by making it sort of a media center for your home. In fact, I remember at some point it might have just been a joke. Probably was. I hope it was that you'd be able to control your refrigerator with your PS2. I remember years ago they said something ridiculous like that. But yeah, and I think this is just a sort of example of that. I don't know. At this point, Nate, do you have any interest in this whatsoever? I think it's somewhat interesting, but it's also just kind of hilarious because of the name, obviously.
Yeah, honestly, I don't see. I'm sure that something like that could be successful in Japan. I just don't see a point for it here.
Yeah.
Especially since the PlayStation 3 already does that. You know,
Yeah.
I